Hello everyone and welcome back. Today I've got a little parcel from Amazon and I thought I'll show you what's inside. It is all exciting. So let's have a look in here. I've cut it open but I haven't seen this yet. Woo-hoo-hoo. It is pretty. So this is Rooms of Wonder, brand new book from Johanna Basford, and obviously we've already pre-started a little bit with some of the printouts, but I thought we'll have a little bit of a look through. So let me zoom out here and let's have a look. So there we go. So the inside cover is a lot of keys, and as you can see, underneath the Rooms of Wonder there is a little keyhole to allow us to move on further. So that's the whole thing about all of these pages. It's got a key and a keyhole or a door hidden in the pages. So here is another couple of keys and a little keyhole there on the name plaque that you can colour in and then move on over to the next page. So the introduction page here, as you can see, there's very small intricate flowers. Probably take a little while to colour in, but I think they'll be really pretty. And obviously it's got all of the instructions. So our first page here is a double spread, which is the I think it's the Lost and Found office with all of these little items that's been lost. They've all got like a little tag on them, so people can find their little items again if they come looking. So it's lots of cute little things in here, so it's definitely be a good one to colour and probably take a little while I think. There's a lot of little objects. But this one here, this one can be definitely done as one of those little wins. So still some of those lost and founds, they all got their little labels on them and will be great to do like one or two at a time when you only have a limited time. So it'll be interesting. There's some cool little items on here. So this one here, I think Johanna referred to that one as the Origami Room. So it's like obviously lots of craft things. So on the left hand side there's some sewing things. There is various sort of craft projects. So one of those little gardens in a jar and things. And here is the sewing room. And I think it's really pretty. There's lots of little things, and I think one of the things I like here is this little sewing machine. It's one of those hand crank, like Victorian style sewing machines. So it's really cool, sort of old fashioned. Maybe one's like one of those little black sewing machines. This one here, there's lots of tiny little flowers. Nice big key though. Obviously got the keyhole there on the other side. With like one of those little round mandalas. Then we have, looks like a bit like a Victorian wallpaper, I think, with the big flowers and everything. So it's up to you then to find the key and the little doorway. Then we have a little writing desk out there in the floral garden. And then this little library here. I think this will be the first one I will do from this book. So I've been liking this one when I saw Johanna did a quick flip through. So the little outdoor library in the woods there, I think it looks really cute. Now this page here I'm so excited about. I can just picture all those sort of glowing fluorescent mushrooms. I think all these little jars hanging down with stars in it. So it kind of looks like we're going to have to do some dark backgrounds and some glowing mushrooms and jars there. And then we have a page with lots of tiny little mushrooms on the right hand side there. Here are some really cool things. It sort of looks a little bit magical, I think. There's some cool little jars with some various little magical objects, mushrooms growing in some jars. There's a moon and some stars. I think this can make for a really cool page to colour, and the items aren't too small, so it won't take you crazy long and not be too fiddly This one here looks so cool with all the little sea creatures in little tanks. Almost like the Finding Dory, if you've seen that movie. Kind of reminds me a bit of that aquarium that she ends up in. And here's another one of these little wallpapers. So, probably not my style, but I think they can still, I've seen some of you guys do some insane work with these kind of patterns, so I can't wait to see what you guys come up with. And then we have the little windmill with the balloons and a little beehive production line by the looks with various little honey jars. It is so cute. And here we go, there's a little office room, lots of various little offices, and might be like a little home office there. By the looks, there's all the little stationaries on the right. And then there was this smoothie room that Johanna mentioned as well. There is lots of fruit, there's some blenders there that should be nice and bright and colourful, I reckon this page will be. It's going to look really cool. So on this page here, we've got, so this is obviously the Wizard's Room, which we've already started on. Actually, well, I think by the time you see this one, we would be finished with this. But at the moment of me filming this, I'm still working on this one. So there's some little planets and stars and moons and various things in some little jars, which I think will lend themselves to some really cool, like glowy things. It should be really cool, and I'm looking forward to trying to do something with that door as well. It looks really funky. And here there's like it's like an ice cream parlor. I think that looks really cool. Everything is looking really cool. I keep repeating myself. And there's that little flower, like a flower house. And I think this page on the right here was one of the printouts that I think Johanna did for one of her events that she did in the UK. And the next one here, that sort of looks a little bit like a Victorian kind of pattern with the key and everything, and around the keyhole. Another page with lots of little winds. I like all of these little like perfume bottles. There's like a Victorian sort of comb and mirror set there. A beautiful little sort of beauty space to sort of put on your makeup, do your hair, and various things. And then we got the wardrobe. There's lots of little dresses there, so that will be really cool to go ahead and do sort of various colors and make those clothes look really cool. I keep repeating cool, oh my word. And another wallpaper style, and there is this little high tea in a cuckoo clock. Lots of cakes and everything there to color in. They're not too small, so they're not very like teeny tiny, so too small to do details, but it should be really good. And then this is the tree house. It's like a bed and everything in the tree. I'm still trying to figure out whether the room is inside or outside. And then we have a rainbow making room, and we also have this sort of inside, I don't know if is it a lounge room, like an underwater lounge room, I think. And then we have a whole lot of desserts and sweets and cakes and delicious treats that will probably make me very hungry to colour that in. And we're starting with some steampunky stuff. I do like that little steampunk style key with all those little metally bits around the sides. And we even got the little creatures there with all these little bits and pieces on them. It reminds me a little bit of that shark from Worlds of Wonder, I think. And what have we got here? So we got there's some little baby prams, lots of just little things in like various sort of household items, really. There are some little gramophones, and then it's a lovely kitchen. It looks a bit like a country kitchen full of bits and bobs. I'm looking forward to seeing how you guys do this one. Actually, it's going to be really nice. and all the little shelves with more sort of little kitchen items. There's some preserves, there's some pots and pans. It's going to look really nice. And this one, I can't wait to do this page with all the little wizardry magical things. So one of the round mandalas, and we have all of the little trinkets on the right hand side. And of course we have the owlery, or the owl post office, which I think was a request from one of Johanna's kids or one of their friends, I think. And I think that's really cool. And then we have this little beautiful table out in, it kind of looks like we're in like a botanical garden, in one of those sort of, call them the crystal rooms, one of those cool little things you'll find in like, I think it's like Kew Gardens or something has got one of those really amazing structures. These little rooms in the jars are so incredibly adorable, and I think a lot of people were worried when they had the printouts that some of the items were quite small, but they are definitely bigger on in the book. So the book is a whole lot wider, so a lot of the pictures are larger there. So while the items are still small, they're not so small that you can't colour them in. And then we have the music page. So we have this little funky piano there with all lots of instruments, and then we have the old-fashioned phone with what looks like, it looks like a bit of an office space or something inside there. Maybe it's a call centre. And that's the end of the book. And at the end, obviously, there's the colour palette test page. Now the paper, as usual, is just as nice as in all the other books. I think for the UK it's that Johanna Basford paper, so it's ivory. It's fairly thick, which make it sort of nice and good for a lot of different mediums. Only thing I probably wouldn't put on them is alcohol markers. They do have a tendency to go through, so I don't really work with markers in mine at all. But if you use not too much water, you can easily use some watercolours in there. You can use Inktense, you can use any kind of pencils. So I'm sure you can find something that will work for you and will give you an absolutely awesome result. I can't wait to see what you guys will get up to in this book. Definitely hashtag Rooms of Wonder on like Instagram if you post it. And I'm looking forward to seeing your creations. Thank you so much for following along with me today, and I'll see you again next time.